Good afternoon, everyone, and namaste, Hari Om. My name is Prashant, and I welcome all of you to the second session of Body Mind Intellect. As you know, the Body Mind Intellect is based on BMI Booster book, and the purpose is to understand the life and self development. So, last time, what we discussed in BMI lecture is like what is life, goal of life, path of life, and challenges we face. So this time we're gonna cover the new topics, which are gonna be like solution to suffering, means to gain the knowledge, barrier in attaining knowledge, the inner viruses and vaccine, stages of development during mind management. So all these topics we're gonna cover. Starting, I'll request Anurag Bhaiya to take it over from here, and we'll start the session with a prayer.
Thank you, Prashant ji. Good afternoon. Namaste to everybody. A very warm welcome for this March edition of Tatva Bodha for Body, Mind, Intellect. Thank you for taking your time and joining this session. So, let's start the session with the prayer. सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. I hope all of you are keeping well, keeping safe, healthy, and enjoying your life and continuing with your journey towards the goal what you have defined for your life. I once again welcome you to this session, and as Prashant ji told, we will be talking about some new things. Last month, we left at this point where we were discussing that life is a suffering. Suffering is an integral part of life. It is can be treated as an abnormality or a disease. Okay, when someone is not in ease, it is disease, and that's the suffering we go through. Ignorance is the cause, and of course, knowledge is the cure for it. So we'll proceed from here, and we will take up some new topics today. Continue the river of knowledge will continue to flow, and we'll talk about what is the solution for suffering, which is given in the scriptures, and means to gain knowledge, barriers in attaining knowledge, and inner viruses and the vaccine, which is provided by our forefathers or the sages. And we'll spend a lot of time on the last bullet, which is stages of development during mind management. This is coming from the experiences of the masters. What happens? What are the various stages or the symptoms of the progress when we start the practice of mind management? Okay. There are too many things to cover. We'll see whatever we can cover in today's time, and then we will take it further. Okay. So we are talking about the knowledge of the self, knowledge of the truth. So we can broadly classify the knowledge, our world, two types of world: the outer world, the terrestrial world, and the world inside, the inner world, which is beyond our sensory perceptions. Okay, the world beyond the terrestrial world is the transcendental world. So there is a knowledge of the terrestrial and then knowledge of the transcendental. Knowledge of the terrestrial is changing, and knowledge of the transcendental never changes. It is a constant, it is eternal, it is infinite. And you can see it, another two words over here coming here. Terrestrial world means intelligence, intelligence building knowledge, knowledge that builds our capacity of intelligence. That is terrestrial knowledge. Knowledge that develops our intellect, that means our capacity to discriminate between right or wrong, righteous or unrighteous, ethical or unethical, real and unreal. Okay, that is the knowledge for developing intellect. So these are the two major things, intelligence and intellect, we are focusing here. Now every human has a choice to decide how you want to live your life. Our mind is conditioned that we spend our life in developing our intelligence. We think that this terrestrial world, which we can perceive through our senses, is the reality. Anything beyond that does not exist. Anything which is in the purview of my or the reach of my senses is only real. Anything beyond that does not exist because we have not experienced it. So we are not wrong in thinking that way. Okay. So we all start spending our resources, investing our resources like our time, our money, whatever, on developing the knowledge of the world around us. That means we develop our intelligence. And then we judge the people on the basis of the intelligence. Okay. And we hardly spend any investment on developing the intellect. Because we, first of all, nobody is teaching us what is the difference between intellect and intelligence. These terminologies are used very loosely and very casually so that we are not able to exactly understand what they are pointing to. Okay. Intelligence may teach us how to produce. By developing intelligence, man has learned producing the things. So you can see the in this artificial world which man has created is all because of the intelligence he has gathered by learning the science which is available. So intelligence is helping us how to produce, but intellect is teaching us how to consume. We have learned how to produce money, but the important thing is how to use the money. Nowadays we see a lot of wastage of money. People have got, certain section of the society has got abundance of money, but they don't know how to use it, and they start spending it unwisely, and eventually, you know it affects the health, and it affects everything about the personality. Before people realize it is too late. Okay, that money is not the only thing which can give happiness. So that's the difference intelligence and intellect is. So as an individual, it is our choice. How do we want to shape our life, where we need to put our investment? Both are required, intellect and intelligence both are required, but understanding and where to put more investment is our decision. And only this knowledge, when we start taking this knowledge, this difference we understand, we get this wisdom. Okay. Now what is the barriers behind attaining this knowledge? The major barrier is, the major problem is, I know it all. Okay. We always think that I know this. Suppose when I am walking on the street, I see the crow which is flying. The crow is flying. I take a look and I just move on. Oh, this is only a crow. I know the crow will fly. The crow is black in color. The crow, does cow, cow, whatever it is, right? I know this is crow. What's so big about it? We hardly put any observation around that because knowledge is coming from every creation. Even a crow has a lot of things to teach. If you study about Dattatreya, sage Dattatreya, he had 24 gurus. He had 24 gurus of the nature, a snake, elephant, dog, so many things, right? He treated them as guru. So Dattatreya is already an Adi Guru. He's an enlightened being, but his gurus are 24. He learned from everything. Okay, so that's how knowledge is everywhere, and we can observe and learn about this knowledge from any creation. But the problem is again, I know it all. What's so big about it? The moment this mindset happens, this is the major barrier in learning any kind of knowledge, not just this knowledge what we are discussing, even the general knowledge what we study in our school, that overconfidence that comes in. So if you see in the picture, there are two states. On the top, you see, I know that I know. People say that. Okay. I know that I know. But 99.9% are under illusion. Okay. They are under illusion that they know everything. And that's where the development stops. They're not able to take the knowledge because they don't think, they think they are full. They know everything. And you will see many, many, many such people today who think like this. So there can be two states. One is illusionary state and one is the real state, which is called enlightenment. All right. 99.9%, as I said, are on the illusionary side. They think that I have achieved. Now, how they can move from illusion to enlightenment? It is the anti-clockwise, you see. It has to reverse. Okay. And life teaches all these. The experiences of life teaches and starts this process of reverse. Nobody can start on its own. You cannot make anyone to reverse this. So that person thinks that I know everything. He is not moving. Only the life will, the changes in the life happening will move that person from that side. And then once the reverse process started, the reverse learning has to start, unlearning has to start, and then there comes a point where the person realizes that I don't know. I know that I don't know it. The person accepts his ignorance. And that is the very important point in this journey. Because the real revolution begins from this point when you have accepted wholeheartedly that I don't know. Then you have prepared. Then you have actually cleared your thing, cleared your slate. Now it is a blank slate. Now you are offering your slate for something new to be written from there, right from zero. And this is where the real knowledge starts. This is the beginning point of the knowledge. Till then, it is always an illusion that you are learning, learning. You are not learning anything unless this point you have reached this point. And this is a biggest revolution that happens for a human being. And then this process starts. You start craving, you develop an intense desire for learning. And this desire, will start and take you to the distance, and nature will start supporting you in this journey from here on. You will get the right people in your life will come. Automatically they will come, and they will give you, certain things here and there, and they will help you move forward on this journey. So nature will start supporting you from here, and eventually the person reaches that state of, again, I know that know, which is enlightenment. So the barrier is, the problem is, I know it all. That has to melt. That has to completely melt for the things to begin. Okay. Now, some general characteristics of a seeker. The person becomes a sadhak or a seeker when he reaches that point of I know that I don't know. That is where the transformation happens, and the seeker inside you is awakened over there. The sadhak, okay, starts, awakens inside you. So, what are the general characteristics of a sadhak? How will you determine what are the symptoms? General, and there are many more, just three or four common characteristics are listed here. The person will speak less and listen more. A sadhak always is a good listener. So 80% he will listen, minimum 80% he will listen. Maximum 80% maximum 20% he will speak. And that, whatever he speak, will be very punching, very powerful. Normally what we do, we just start blabbering, the moment we have read some books and we start giving knowledge to everybody. That is not a quality of a seeker. What we are doing, we are reading and vomiting. That is not a sadhak. A sadhak is listening, shravana. If you remember, in the GD part last month, we discussed about shravan, manan, and nijadhyasan, listening, reflection, and experience. So listening is very important for a sadhak. And that happens only when this point of I know that I don't know arrives in somebody's life. Sadhak is a seeker, is a critic of self. He self criticizes himself. He is not criticizing others. He has no focus on others. He will not say anything bad about others. His entire focus is on himself. And he is a staunchest of self critic. He's looking every impurity inside and criticizing himself and telling himself that, I have to overcome this. And he's not telling to the world that I have these problems. No, everything is happening inside. He's reflecting, correcting himself. This is another general characteristic of a seeker. He's unaffected by the external factors. Anybody coming and insulting or anybody coming and praising, the sadhak seeker knows that he is unperturbed. The praise will not disturb him, and insult will also not disturb him, his peace of mind. He's stable. Okay. So that is another characteristic of a seeker. And of course, the person is very mature. He will not react. He will not act and react. So what is a reaction? Reaction means acting without thought. Acting without thinking is reaction. So seeker is the one who will think before acting. That means intellect first, and then comes the body, which performs the output. That comes into his habit. These are general characteristics, common characteristics, and there are more such characteristics. We will not spend that much time, but I think these are good enough indicators to self-assess ourselves, each one of us. We can benchmark and take a very critical view of our personality against these parameters. So nature has blessed the human beings with priceless gifts. Nature has given us a very highly useful body, a very super capable mind, and unparalleled intellect. Body, mind, intellect. No other species on this planet is blessed with these things. Humans are called most evolved species on the planet because they have this unparalleled intellect. And they have the capacity to develop it further. Okay. No other species can take decisions. No other species can make choices. Humans can do that. They can define the course of their life. Other species like animals, who comes second to human, they live as per the nature has given them the program. Similarly, plants also live as per the nature has given them the plants. Dates will always happen in the desert. Dates cannot happen in the tropical region. They will grow in there only. Okay. So specific fruits will grow in the region they are, nature has designed for them. But humans can survive anywhere. Humans can sustain anywhere because they have got this unparalleled intellect and capacity to develop intelligence. And that's how they are able to overpower the challenges. Okay. If it is a snowy thing, man has the capacity to win over that and live conditions, make conditions suitable for living even in these difficult areas also. And along with this, nature has given abundance of resources for humans to use and make use of it properly for the development, for his learning, for the purpose of the life, that is learning to gain knowledge. So this is how the body, mind, and intellect they perform the function. If you further expand this, a body, mind, intellect function, you see that matter and consciousness. Consciousness is a constant thing; it cannot change. So consciousness is available in a same proportion to every creation. Okay, you cannot discriminate. So consciousness does not discriminate anybody. Okay, it is available everywhere. Not a single point on this coordinate in this universe where consciousness is not there. Okay, and you can understand it more from the analogy of a bulb and electricity. Like electricity is constant, available in the same uh, quantity. Okay, your house is receiving same electricity, 240 volts. Every socket in your house is getting the same thing. Okay, so your bulb also receives the same electricity, your television also receives it, your microwave also receives the same electricity, and everybody has got different functions to perform. Similarly, all matter gets the same consciousness, and matter can function only because of the existence of consciousness. If consciousness is not there, the function of the matter, that is creation, sustenance, and termination, this whole cycle will finish up. There won't be anything there. Okay, so it is consciousness. Because of the consciousness, this creation and this cycle happens. You are taking birth because of the consciousness. You are living your life, you are enjoying your life because the consciousness is available to you. You are changing your body, that means after death, again new birth, because consciousness is there. So the game of life cannot happen in the absence of consciousness. Now, this matter manifests into three functions: body, mind, intellect. Body is made up of senses, five sensory organs known as Gyanendriya in the Sanskrit, and five motor organs called as five Karmendriya. Sensory organs are where the input is received. We perceive the world around us using these five senses, and then we act with the help of our motor organs. We perform actions. So we all know what are the sensory organs: nose, ears, eyes, tongue, skin. These are the five sensory organs through which we are receiving the input of the world around us. And then five motor organs, which are those: hands, feet, organs of speech, okay, and organs of reproduction, organs of excretion. These are the five motor organs through which we are performing the actions, karmas. All right. So that is the body part of it. Then comes the mind. So mind is the emotions, desires, collection of desires, emotions, ambitions, dreams, uh, memory, whatever it is, right? So all that imagination, whatever it is, like you can call that as a mind. The set of all these is a mind. Mind feels the input. Okay. So when somebody touches you, you feel something like that. Okay. Some feelings happen inside you. So that is your mind. So that means mind is everywhere in the body. Okay. Somebody touches your feet, you get the feeling. Somebody touches your head, you get the feeling. The feeler is everywhere inside your body. That means mind is everywhere inside your body. And then the intellect. Intellect again, two parts, gross and subtle. Okay. So that is the range. People have different capacity or level of intellect from gross to subtle. So what is a gross intellect? Gross intellect means you are thoughts of the world, the thinker inside you, these hot and cold, good and bad, tall and whatever you are, the difference you are able to make of the world around you, that's the thinker. And that's the gross part of the intellect. As the intellect develops into the subtle realms, the thoughts of reality, person will start something which you cannot see, something you are which is beyond the visible, is the thoughts of reality, the contemplator inside you. And the highest point of intellect, the 100% highest point of intellect, is the person is able to differentiate between real and unreal. Person is able to differentiate between matter and consciousness. Matter is unreal, consciousness is real. Adi Shankaracharya's profound declaration we all have heard: Brahma Satya, Jagat Mithya. Jagat means this terrestrial world, the world around us. That is the Jagat, Sansar world. That is Mithya, that is unreal. Only Brahm is the Satya. Brahm is that supreme reality, that consciousness, which is not changing. Satya means truth. What is truth? Something which is not changing at all. In the past, present, future, it will remain constant. No change will happen. All matter goes through changes. All matter is unreal. All matter is terrestrial. Transcendental is only that once you transcend the matter, that is the field of consciousness, is the transcendental. That never changes. Okay. So the life, how the life works, system of life works like a computer. Very simple example. Computer has input, and then computer has a processor, and then computer has a output. And then there is a user who is using the computer, receive an experience out of it. The user gives the input, CPU is, so input is given through the keyboard and mouse. Okay. And then CPU is performing the out processing of that, and then giving back the output on the monitor, on the screen. So your phone acts like a computer. You give some input, it processes, it dials the number, connects you with the person, and then as an output you get on the speaker the experience of it. Okay. So, and then that experience is stored in your memory, again in your mind. That's the storage inside you. That's how the computer works. Life works on the same principles. So you have organs of perceptions which are like the keyboards and the mouse, input instruments for your body. That is your body, physical body. You are receiving input, organs of perception, and then your mind and intellect is processing that input. Your mind is feeling it, it is transporting it, and your intelligence and intellect, your buddhi, is taking action on it, or it is taking a decision on it, processing it, and then again giving back the output to your body. Your motor organs will perform the output like actions. So that's how the things are working. And you, as an individual, so body, mind, and intellect, remember, you are not those, they are your instruments. When your instruments are doing it, you are receiving some experience out of it. And that experience is stored as a memory. Like computer has a storage, you also have a storage. Your cells have storage inside where the experience gets stored. Okay. Now, the quality of experience, life is nothing but collection of experience. The Now it depends which experiences are more in your life. If good experiences are more, you will say that life is good. If bad experiences are more, you will say life is suffering, life is that, I don't want to live, negative thoughts will come in. Okay. All that will come to you. You will define life based on your experiences. So to have quality of experience, enhanced quality of experiences, the quality of input, the quality of your processor is very important. The quality of your mind and intellect is very important there. And then the quality of output will be very good for you. Success, happiness, joy, whatever output you want, you will get it if the quality is maintained. But if that quality is not maintained, of course, your life will not be the one like you desire to live. That is why the cause of the suffering is inside and the solution to the suffering is also inside. You have to make sure your quality of processor and quality of input is good, correct. Now comes the another part, the threat. The threat to the computer is virus. Virus is a threat for the computer. It can result in the partial functioning of the computer or total dysfunctioning of the computer, depending upon what kind of virus it is. Similarly, in our life also, two types of viruses. One virus which comes from outside and affects our body, okay, the external threat and the internal threat. Now we all know which threat is more dangerous. Anywhere, even in the kingdoms are gone because of the internal threats, not because of the external threats. Internal threats are always very dangerous. Be it your house, be it your country, be it your body, inner threats are more dangerous because they know everything about you. Inner threats, external threats don't know things about you, so they have more probability of failure, but inner threats have more probability of success, of derailing your life. So inner threats are more important, and only a self critic person knows the inner threat. Person who says I know that I know lives in illusion will never be able to detect the inner threats. And one fine day life gives a big jerk, big jhatka, okay, big shock, and that's where the whole thing starts melting down. That's where I told life will only teach you, will bring the experience from that point to the point of beginning of the knowledge. I Acceptance, point of acceptance. I know that I don't know. Only life can teach us. So we have to be very aware of these viruses. So, what are these kind of inner viruses? Very, very deadly viruses in nature. Desire, anger, greed, attachment, fear, arrogance, jealousy. They are all capable of destroying the personality, infecting our CPU, infecting our body, putting our health at stake. These are the viruses. They are continuously there inside us. Okay. In Sanskrit, these are called as Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Matsar, like that. Okay. So these are the viruses we need to be very, very much aware of. So then, what is the vaccine? Very clearly, mind management. All these viruses infect our mind, our CPU, and mind management is important. One who can practice this art of mind management is able to overcome these viruses. And this knowledge of self, as the mind management process goes, this knowledge develops step by step, and the person gets detached, the person gets completely liberated from the suffering. Okay. So it is a very systematic process. You see here how this vaccine has to be administered. It is a very scientific and systematic process of learning. Like we do learning in any part of the life, this knowledge is no different than those methods or methodologies what we have learned. So from the left, if you see that when someone is set on this path, that path is called the path of divine life. Path of divine life, I'm not talking of any organization or an individual. It is a concept, it is a method, path of divine life. So, what is path? What is divine? What is life? Divine is the nature, the true nature, that truth. How to know that truth? There are various uh, uh, paths based on the experiences of people which are given. They say that path of action, that is karma yoga, path of devotion, which is bhakti yoga, path of knowledge, which is gyan yoga. Like we choose our career when we are studying in the school, we have different career paths to pick from. One can become an engineer, one is able to free choose to pick up the path of a doctor, medical line, and he excels in that path to build the career. Somebody can pick up the commerce path and become an accountant, chartered accountant, or whatever. Somebody chooses sports, somebody chooses defense. There are various paths available. Now, problem what happens here is we choose the path by looking at the people around us. That is called as herd instinct. Herd, like sheeps move in herd, right? Where the leader sheep is going, all the sheep will blindly start following that. So wherever the crowd is going, people think the crowd is right, and let me also follow there. So we make our decisions based on the quantity. That happens in our life. So people choose their path based on the external factors, and they give least importance on their own nature or my interest. Where exactly my interest is? Where do I want to go? The parental pressure is there, the peer pressure is there, and under that pressure, people succumb and choose something. You know, reputed institutes like IITs are there, like IIMs are there. Okay, Indian Institute of Technology, a very reputed institute. People feel proud, when they get admission into it. But there are also reports of suicides coming from these institutes. You must have read it in the newspaper. This is exactly why these suicides happen, because under the peer pressure or parental pressure, an intelligent student chooses to take up that path. Although he is not designed, his internal design, his internal nature or interest is something else. He wants to go somewhere. But now, because of this pressure, he chooses that path and gets studies hard, and gets admission. But he's not able to sustain that thing because his interest is not aligned. So after a while, he will lose interest in that. And then he finds, no, there is no way back from it. And he don't know what to do. He or she don't know what to do. And then that frustration leads to depression. Depression leads to the suicides that way. So when you choose the path not aligned with your nature, you are bound to feel, dejected, disappointed, and frustrated. More suffering will happen. You had the capacity, but you will end up in the suffering. Same thing happens in this field also, knowledge of the self. These are the three paths. People will choose whatever, they will not do the self assessment and choose one of these paths. Oh, the whole world is running behind meditation, let me also go behind meditation. Without understanding the actual meaning of meditation, people start enrolling, giving money, attending classes from one meditation institute to other meditation institute, going from this guru to that guru, and they will get into this whole cycle. Eventually they will get disappointed because they are not able to move anywhere. Okay, it's because without any self reflection, without any self assessment or alignment, we are just going through the herd instinct and picking up any of the path which is available. Lord Buddha, his path was the path of knowledge, path of meditation he used to reach his goal. Meera, okay, Mirabai in India, all of you have heard about her. She used the path of devotion. Okay, she used the path of devotion, bhakti, and she reached the same goal, same point. Okay, and then there are a lot of karma yogis also who use the path of service, path of action, and then they reached that goal of enlightenment through service because they aligned their nature and then chose their path and then they reached their goal. But today, nobody is thinking about it. Very sad. Okay, everybody wants to reach that goal, but they don't know how to pick the path, how to pick the path. You go and just open YouTube, start seeing videos left and right, and you think you start doing something here, something there. You start digging everywhere, and you don't get water. Right? If you keep digging on the right place, you will get the water from that point. But if you start digging everywhere without actually understanding, you will not get water. You will get tired. Your energy will be gone and you will become frustrated. That is what is happening in this field. And people will start blaming spirituality after that. Oh, the spirituality is a fake thing. Okay. It has nothing. Enjoy the life, what I was doing, let us enjoy the life that way. Okay. So they say that okay, let us continue this pain and pleasure and think at least some pleasure I derive because of these indecision, wrong decision making, not ability. They don't get the direction, proper direction for this. So each path requires the management of the mind. So what is this mind management? Okay, when the mind is completely managed, transcended, then the person gets into this self realization. Okay, he develops that on that path. Now in the last 10-15 minutes we will discuss the various stages. Before that, let us see what are the means to gaining the knowledge. Knowledge can be gained by four means: direct perception. Okay, direct perception, that means if you touch something directly, like hot water, you touch directly, then you know that this water is hot once you touch it. That is by the direct perception you are getting that knowledge. That's a direct experience to you. Okay, indirect perception, by seeing something, like when you see the smoke at a distance, you deduce or you conclude there must be fire. You are not directly seeing the fire, but you are seeing the smoke. So by you're seeing that indirectly smoke, you are getting the knowledge there is a fire in that place. In the morning, okay, your windows are all closed, but you hear the chirping of the birds. The chirping of the birds will give you the knowledge, oh, must be 5:30 or 5:45, morning must have happened, the sun is rising. That will give you the knowledge of the time. That is indirect perception. That's the second means of gaining the knowledge. Third is the comparison, upama. You give the upama of something. That means if you don't know A, but you know B, so by knowing the B, the characteristics of B, you are trying to understand A. All right? Like an example of a child. So a person asked other, okay, where is God? How will you define God? The guru says, you see that child? Look at that child. That is God. Okay, God lives like this. God smiles like this. God has no worries like this child has no worries. God is also same. So he's giving the upama or the comparison of that person. The person knows the child. So by child, the person is creating an image of the God. So he's knowing the God through a child by knowing the child. That is how the comparison we get knowledge. In our day-to-day life, we do that. Okay. If you have not tasted any dish, then somebody tells you, oh, you have tasted that dish. Oh yeah, this dish is something like that. Then you say, oh, the taste must be like this of it, the color must be like that. So that knowledge you will start kind of creating in your mind. You're trying to understand dish A through the dish B which you know. Okay, so that is how the comparison of the knowledge works. And the fourth means of getting knowledge is the tradition by parampara. That means it has been passed from one generation to the other generation. Knowledge has been passed from one generation to the other generation. This knowledge we are discussing is the knowledge by the tradition, where Guru Shishya tradition, master disciple tradition. The Guru has passed on this knowledge to his Shishya. Shishya has evolved. He has experienced that knowledge, walking on the same path which Guru has shown. And then Shishya becomes the master. He gets another generation of disciples under him. And that's how the knowledge is preserved and passed. Okay. So that's the traditional knowledge. So we will try to understand the 7 stages of mind management through this traditional knowledge. And Yoga Vashisht is the book written by sage Vashisht, in which he has described the 7 stages of development of this knowledge. Okay, the first stage is called as Shubhecha. In Sanskrit, Shubh Echa. It is like 2 words, Shubh and Icha. That is virtuous desire. Shubh means auspicious, the virtuous, and Icha means desire. What is that virtuous desire? Okay. So first of all, let us understand what is desire then. Okay. What is desire? So desire is a flow of your mind, flow of your thought towards a person or towards any object. That is called as desire. And thousands of desires keep coming in our mind. Our mind is a very, very fertile field for desires. Desires are like bacteria. They multiply in thousands and 10,000s, okay, in our life. Never ending desires. Okay. And as we are growing from a child to an adult, young, our desires will keep on changing. As a child, we are more interested in chocolates and ice creams and toys. Okay. But when you become young, you leave away all those desires. Automatically, those desires are gone. You don't want to play with toys. Then a new toys you start craving for. What are these toys? Cars and bikes and mobile phones. They become the objects of desire when you become youth. When you become married, again your desires will change. When you become parents, again your desires will change. When you become grandparents, again your desires will change. Desires will always be there. They are part and parcel of the life. Your mind is continuing to, spit out the desires. Now let us see what happens when the desire happens. What are the two when desire can either get fulfilled or it may not get fulfilled. Desire can end into two states: success or failure. So what happens when it gets success? When the desire gets successful, it gets fulfilled, you want more. Okay? Then you want more. Though you want more. Happens in every part of life. You get some money, then you want more money. Similarly, you get a promotion, then you start for getting another promotion. You got your status. Desire for status continues to grow. Desire for money continues to grow. Okay? It is never ending. That there comes a point where this desire converts into greed without we knowing about it. Certainly this greed virus of greed will get activated inside us, and knowingly or unknowingly we become victim of this virus of greed. All right, and then by hook or crook we want our desire to get fulfilled, because then greed is working, intellect does stop working. When greed is there, it clouds our ability to think what is right, what is wrong. We want this at any cost, this desire to be fulfilled in our life. Then we start using shortcuts, unethical ways to keep fulfilling our desire. And then as this process continues, greed converts into lust. Greed and lust nourishes the ego inside us. Okay, the ego becomes happy. The false I inside us, it thinks, okay, I am getting success, I am getting success. You know that I know that illusion, I am getting success. And then this greed and lust will continue to grow, and they take over our personality before the life gives us the shock. So this happens when the desire is fulfilled. Now let us take another path when the desire is not fulfilled. Okay, suppose you are craving for something. Okay, a person A is in likes a person B. A boy has started liking a girl. Okay, now that thoughts of that his thoughts will all start flowing towards that girl all the time. 24 hours he's thinking about that girl, and this desire becomes so intense that he wants that girl in his life. By any means he wants that girl to come in his life. This desire is flowing. Now, in a typical Bollywood picture, there person C enters in the scene, and this becomes a triangle. A person C also starts doing the same as person A. His desire also starts going towards the same girl. What will happen to person A? When person A comes to know about the person C, what will happen to him? Okay, he will feel insecure. He might become angry. He might become arrogant. He might feel dejected. Anything can happen. That means your flow has been disrupted by somebody. As long as your desire is flowing, he is happy. He is dreaming about that girl. He is very happy. The moment that desire is punched by this entry of this person's state of mind gets disturbed. And all this, the mind lands up here. Okay, right? And this anger leads to delusion leads to loss of awareness. Loss of awareness means the person loses the awareness of time, space means where he is, location, with whom he is talking to, where he is there. Okay, he loses all that under the fit of rage, under the anger. Okay, and he loses the ability to think. So his intellect has been overpowered by the emotion of anger, and there is a fall in the personality of the person. He has been infected by this virus, and his personality disintegrates from there. He devolves. And Bhagavad Gita, very, in the just 2 lines, captures this state which happens in our life quite frequently. Krodhat bhavati sammoha, sammohat smriti vibrama. Krodha bhavati sammoha. Anger causes the sammohan, illusion or the delusion. Sammohat smriti vibhrama. Illusion causes the memory or the awareness gets lost. Smriti means that memory or the awareness. In this context, they are talking about that. Smriti bhranshad buddhi nasho. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. Okay. The whole explanation you can see in the concept what we discussed. How the desire of the world causes the fall in the personality. All right. So this is not the, and we are talking about the state of shubhecha. This is not shubhecha, because if it is a shubhecha, if it is a virtuous desire, it will not lead to the loss of personality. Then what is the virtuous desire? People think that I can't live with the desire. I'm a human being. I need to have desires. I can't live with it. What you are saying is all impractical. No, scriptures are not telling that you should not have desire. You should have desire, but it should be virtuous desire. Okay. So, with this question, what is a virtuous desire? We will conclude this. Please think about it, and we will take this in the group discussion, the entire things what we have discussed today in the next week, next Sunday. We are at the top of the hour, and here we will close, and then we will continue on these stages of development, further stages of development, as quoted, as experienced, and given into the Yoga Vashishta. So with this, let us do the prayer of closure today. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I thank you, each one of you, for your time, cooperation, support. Wish you all the best, and we will meet next Sunday. Over to you, Prashantji.
Thank you, Anurag Bhaiya, and
Thank you
thanks
so
all of
much.
you to join. So we will meet on next Sunday for our group discussion. We will continue with this topic, and whatever the question you get, you can just write it down in a group, or you can we can discuss that during our next session, which will be on a coming Sunday. So we will let you know the link, and we'll try to get the YouTube link of this session so that you can go through it once again. So thank you so much once again. You all have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Anurag ji. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.